Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Farming Simulator 17, and welcome back to Dolnośląska Wieś. Getting better, I've been practicing. Right, so I don't know if this happens when you're watching my videos, but are you ever like, ill will, it's right there, man. You walked right past it, you missed it. How could you not know that's there? Well, you know, it's just the way it works out sometimes. I get enthusiastic. I tend to, yeah. Anyway, so this map is Dolnośląska Wieś, and I commented that it looks a lot like PGR Bruzda, which is a great map. It's just too big for me, but the similarities are like amazing, and I really like this map because I really like that other map, and this map reminds me of that other map. Well, sure enough, I look on the mod hub, and it's made by the same map maker. So, yeah, of course it looks the same. It's a really good looking map, and it plays really fast too, as does PGR Bruzda, and I like that. I like when a map maker, I mean, you can make a gorgeous map that's just an absolute FPS pig. I think it's a trick to make a good map that plays fast, that looks good, and this map is very atmospheric. The fog just lifted. We're still on day one, but the fog just lifted, and man, this map just, it pulls you in. It really does. It's a very cool map. So, when you start in this map, when you spawn down at that southern farm court, farmyard, whatever you want to call it. And I just assumed that was meant to be our farmyard, the farmyard that is at the dairy across the highway from the pigs. I just assumed that was it, right? But I got to thinking, PGR Bruzda has a massive court. It's one of the biggest I've ever seen. And same map maker, maybe. So I get to looking around, and as I was looking for a place to put my DEF pump, and you know, this is weird too. I used to put this DEF pump like at a fuel station or down at the implement store or something, and then I would put a DEF tank at the farm. So this one you can buy DEF. The tank you can only store it, and then you need to get the little special trailer. You need to buy it at this thing, wherever this thing is located, and then haul it and store it at the tank. And I thought, why don't I just put the pump on the farm, right? We had a contractor, fuel company, install this here. They fill it periodically, and yeah, there you go. So I did that. So this is a gigantic yard, plenty of room, plenty of sheds. Some of these doors open, some do not. So some of them are functional, some of them are decorative, but regardless, we will have plenty of room for all of our stuff. And I was able to get our Rostselmash Neva undercover. I was a little concerned about that. Can't have an expensive piece of very old used Russian equipment sitting out in the rain. And we've got our Deutz down here. You say Deutz, you say Dutz. Either way. So we have been, I'll show you when we get down there, but we've been busy. I've been busy. I got, let's get in here. I got all of the fields plowed. I got all of the fields, well, I take that back. I got almost all of them plowed. There's one being plowed at the moment by the MB track. But I got almost everything plowed. Let's hop in here. And we had spread a layer of hard fert before we plowed. Then we spread another layer after we plowed. And then I cultivated everything, and then we spread another layer. So all the fields are triple fertilized and plowed. So we will have a full 200% buff on our first harvest. And this court is like literally right up the road. I'll show you when we get to the other yard. But it's right up the road. It's can't be more than a few hundred yards, a few hundred meters. However you say it where you are. This is a very wide tractor too. It doesn't, compared to something like the K700, it doesn't seem that ridiculous, but it's pretty ridiculous. So we're going to very carefully, moment please. Hang on. And, there goes my voice. Man, I hope nothing's wrong with me. Well, I mean, obviously something's wrong with me, but you know what I mean. Hope nothing's wrong with my voice. Right. And oh, yeah, the traffic, I have to say this about not just this map, but about just about every map. I feel like there's way too much traffic. These are little country roads. I would cut the traffic by about 80%. Can't really see out that side. But we made it. Okay. So the whole reason we were bringing the Deutz down there in the first place was to put it on the cedar. And I got so excited. I was so happy to start my video that I totally forgot to take the cedar with me. Oh, ill will. What are we going to do with you? Right, so it's New Year's Day. I'm recording on New Year's Day. It's somewhat early. It's like 9 o'clock. I don't know. I don't know how your New Year's went. Mine was pretty low-key. Spent New Year's Eve in the Haunted Mansion by myself, sitting in front of the fireplace, watching the ball drop on a tablet. As you do. But you know what? Could be worse. Could be a lot worse. I keep that in mind at all times. And it really does help. It's a little bit of that perspective, yo. So, I hope your New Year's was fantastic. And I hope your 2019 is great as well. I think it's going to be a good year for everybody. You know, I think about things. It's that Asperger's. You think about everything. And you don't even mean to. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, well, I'm a little bit OCD. But Asperger's, I guess, is like being OCD. Not necessarily about anything, but just a little bit about everything. So if, you know, sometimes you can't remember a song or something, or you can't remember where you put something, and it doesn't really matter. You don't need it. You're just like, man, where did I leave that? Right? And you just want to find it. You know, a bit of an earworm. Well, moment, please, concentrating. That's a little bit what it's like. I guess that's a good way to describe it. That's a little bit what it's like. But it's like that about everything. So if you, right, I think I may have said this before, but when you're on the spectrum, there are no rhetorical questions, right? Like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. If somebody asks you something, you will find an answer to what they asked you, regardless of how rhetorical it was. So when I think about, you know, because we all say that. Everybody says that. I hope it's a good year for you. Or, you know, 2018 wasn't a good year. This was a good year. This was a bad year. So I got to thinking about that, like I think about everything. And what I realized was, I'm going to try to slide this between the bushes here. Right. So we're going to set the brake. I'm going to drop the cedar, and we're going to carefully run across the highway. I got to thinking about that. And this is what I came up with. When you have a good year, that year is just in the books. You're done, right? When you have a bad year, that year stays with you. Off topic, this is the yard that we start in. In fact, we start right over here in front of this door. And I thought this was going to be our farm. It is not. There's a fuel field here. This is what the fuel fields look like on this map. I think that is very creative. Rather than a pump, it's some cans. I could see that. You know, contractor brings out some cans and you're good to go. I also saw, I thought this was a fertilizer fill because our lid popped open when we drove past it. Turns out there are some placed consumables, right? And there was a placed consumable of fertilizer here. We just used it all up, right? So that's not a fertilizer fill point. It's just where some fertilizer was left by the map maker. So we have got our MB track plowing this field, and we're running courseplay, and courseplay is I feel like it was the final version of courseplay before the end of FS17. Moment, please. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Delicious. I feel like it was the final version of courseplay before the end of 17, and I feel like everything that was going to be in it was in it. Now, one of the things that's in it is drive around islands, which is amazing to me, because that was one of the biggest frustrations, maybe, if you had a map that had power pylons or trees or that sort of thing. Well, this course play can handle that. So we are in field 23. In fact, I can't zoom in there. Let's go here. We are in field 23, which is right over here. Yep. Field 23, it does have an island in it. Now, a couple things that I noticed. These two fields back here are free grass fields or public grass fields, or we own them, or however you want to say it. This is as well. I'm going to start scouting around because I think this is grass as well. I think this may be off the map, but I think this grass area here is also open to us. And I think there may be some others. So I'm going to prowl around a little bit and see if we can find some more grass. I can also tell you that we owned fields 31 and 33 when the map started. I had to buy field 34. And this has been fertilized, plowed, fertilized, cultivated, and plowed, fertilized, plowed, fertilized, cultivated, and fertilized again. So that's got 3 layers. And the reason we bought field 34, this was kind of strange. You know, I can't imagine how complex and how time-consuming and just, there's this also. There's random rocks in the field. Well, we've got game extension on, so I'm just going to pick this rock up and put it somewhere. I don't get it. I see what you're heading for, but I don't really know if I'm down with the rocks in the field. But to make a map, I can't imagine making a map. Are you kidding me? How do you even begin? It's amazing. I love map makers. There's such attention to detail in these maps, but then sometimes there's not. And in this particular map, the field borders do not line up with the textures, which basically means that when you get close to the edge of many fields, oh, love the Mercedes. Oh, that sound. Your implement just stops functioning. It says you do not own this field, and obviously it won't function in the field that you don't own, but it stops functioning in the field that you do own, because there's no half and half. It's either on or off. So if the other field turns it off, it stops functioning even in your field. And that's happened many times. So I had to buy field 34 because we couldn't really get close to it on the field 33 side. It kept cutting out. Right. The K700. This thing is a nightmare. It really is. It just absolutely drinks fuel. It doesn't have a lot of power. It's only about 220 horsepower for all its size and sound and fury. It really doesn't have a lot of horsepower. You can't put it on a worker. You can't put it on course play reliably. It just goes in circles for a little while and then it takes off at top speed across the map, even on course play, which is unusual. It's a hot mess, and I would like to say it's cool and we're just keeping it, but it's really not even cool. But we are keeping it because I'm stubborn and because it's kind of charming. There's nothing else like it that I've ever owned as a tractor. It really is. It's a piece of work, man. It really is. And I think it really, really suits this map. A small sort of grassroots farm. You know, we're not really a big commercial farm. We're just a little farm in Poland. So we're keeping the K700. Right. So that brings you up to speed on this side of the map, and I guess on the map in general. And that was how I started the video. Like, if you notice things that I haven't noticed, I'll notice them eventually. Probably, possibly, maybe. I figure stuff out. Oh, this is cool too. I discovered this accidentally. This is one of our pits, and you see we've got our little dialogue up the top, fill level 0, compacting 0. This is a pit. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it doesn't spill out. You know? We'll see. This seems to be something bad is happening here. Something bad seems to be happening here. Sir? Fortunately, this is a pretty small field, so even if I do have to, like, take over manually... Ah, whatever. Whatever. It's New Year's Day. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'll fix it manually off camera if it goes awry. But very often course play, it'll do that. It'll start to kind of, you know, and you're thinking, well, hey, just leave it alone. You know, just leave it alone and it'll sort itself out. There's our Unimog with our pellet spreader. We're going to do a couple more passes down here on those two fields. The one I just cultivated with the K700 and the one that is being plowed now, those will both need another coat of fert. Right. Where do we want to start this guy? Where do we? You know, field, let's do field 34. Let's do field 34. That's a nice simple square field, and it looks like, oh, maybe not. Yeah, I think we're going to need to fix the, the MB track. How do we want to get out of here? We can get out this way. Very carefully drive between the bushes. We own all this. This is our pig farm here. So we can knock down all the trees we want. Right. Over here. Back over here. It's a fun tractor, and it's got great sound. It may or may not belong on this farm. It's a little bit big, and when you think that our other three vehicles are an old Unimog, an old MB, and an old Russian missile hauler, you know, does this really belong here? Sure, why not? Right, so we have wheat selected. This field is good to go. I want to think we've had problems with this. We had problems with this unit on Herman's Eck, and because it's both a cultivator and a seeder, I want to say it acts up a little bit. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Right. So we want dumb AI, but we will select back and forth even if it doesn't need it. Brake is off. Get to work. Gregor is busy. So let's go here, and we'll just start at the top. John, come here, buddy. You work for me now. So John, we'll select him. And, yep. On a square field, it seems to be doing all right. Maybe. Maybe. Ah, okay. This is not exactly 90 degrees, but it's... all right. Well, that worked well. Fantastic. Okay, let's try it with the four-wheel drive. Oh, it's always something with this game. It's always something. Okay. That's different. Okay. Okay, that's different too. Whoa. Okay. Oh, game. All right. Well, we'll just okay. We'll just leave that for a minute. Well, we can't leave it for a minute because it's done. There's nothing over here. It's all the way at the edge of the field going the wrong direction. Sir, I mean, we are going to put wheat in there. Oh, this is the best video of 2019. I can't believe how awesome everything is turning out so far, sir. Okay. Well, I'm just going to leave him to it. Oh, God. I'll fix that off camera. Let's see how the MB track is doing. Eventually, everything gets worked out. Eventually, it does. You know, something that I think about is that there is a standard to have a map on the mod hub. But if you just want to make a map and just put it somewhere, you know, just put it online, sir. sir. Easy, player. If you just want to make a map and put it online, you could totally do that, you know. And there's no standard for it, and we see this all the time in badly converted maps and stolen maps, and you know what I mean. I have an idea. How are we doing on time? 20 minutes. I have an idea. You see that all the time with stolen maps and badly converted maps, and or just bad maps. You know, maps that people make themselves that really aren't very good. You know, and I realize everybody's got to start somewhere. You know, but yeah, I think sometimes like the maps that people start with, like their first map that they've ever made, you gotta maybe keep that private. That's perhaps not ready to be released. I'm just gonna dump this in here. So okay, if we want to drop this, we do have to. For some reason, it will not release when it's in the travel mode. Right. Love the sound in this tractor, too. It's so good. So, I don't think every map should see the light of day. I think some maps, you know, if you're just learning to make maps, that's totally cool. Everybody's got to start somewhere, but don't release that. And yet they do get released. They don't make it to the mod hub because the mod hub has standards, but you'll see them online, right? And I guess my point is that when it comes to like making mods, whether it's maps or tractors or anything, there's really no standard. And I think that's why some game save, I hope. I think that's why some developers do use something like the mod hub or the Steam store, right? That there's some standard, that there's some agreed upon like set of rules and guidelines, and so something like those field borders not lining up with the textures. I don't know why that is, but I look at this map and I think, man, this is a work of art. Like, this is not slapped together. So how is it that a map that seems this tight can have what I would describe as maybe kind of a glaring error, you know? It's hard to say. Or it could be intentional. I don't know. Maybe there's some reason why they had to do that. Right. So down here at the store, and I haven't had a chance to take it to the farm yet, I did get a little Flegel dolly trailer, which I think holds around 18,000 liters, and I think that's going to be the biggest that we need. Right. So if we go here, we've got the... Is it here? Is it here? Yeah. I'm using Agromaz equipment. 7 tooths. Install the lighting. Boom. I'm using Agromaz because it's Polish. Oh, love the sound on this tractor. I love it. And I didn't really plan it that way, but that first plow, the first piece of equipment that we got and the first piece of equipment that we used was that plow that we just dropped in the yard. And that's made by this company, and they are Polish. So I think I must have been planning that. Like, I must have been thinking about that or something. We got it? We got it. But then I went ahead and downloaded some other Agromaz equipment and try to keep it thematic. And because we'll probably, as the farm grows, because we'll probably have a lot of workers going at the same time with seasons and with the fields being kind of small and sort of ticky-tack, I think we can go ahead and get this other plow / subsoiler. Sorry, I get quiet when I concentrate. You know that. And maybe this will make it a little bit easier for us to get field 23 done because it is so tight. Oh, so tight in there. A lot of traffic. A lot of traffic in the country. So what we'll do is, it looks like the Deutz-Fahr is still seeding. Who knows where? We'll take a look when we get down there. Now, all those fields are going to be wheat. 33, 34, and 31 are all going to be wheat. So that's okay. It's okay that it went ahead and crossed the grass into that other field. Not very realistic. Definitely breaks the immersion, but we're okay. And then I'll go ahead and cut in. Looks like there's going to be a massive headland on that field. And I'll go ahead and cut that in manually. So we'll do a little bit of, where we at on time? 26 minutes. We'll do a little bit of cleanup work in here. In field 23 around that island. And I believe, because this is in the cultivator category, but the mod maker has it listed as a subsoiler. Well, they have it listed as a plow. So I think, well, we'll see. We'll just get in here and get after it and see what kind of results we get. Right. Try not to drive on my plowed areas. Do I need to turn it on? I do not. I just need to drop it. Oh, yeah. Let's lock in some hubs. There we go. Oh, that is one angry tractor. Does not like this. You know who would like this? The K700. Once we get a little momentum going, I think we're going to be okay. Although, perhaps not. Come on. You know what I didn't do? Moment, please. You know what I didn't do? I didn't check horsepower. I never do. I never do. Where are we at? 240. And what is our Mercedes? 150. Well, there's your problem. So, how do we want to do this? Let's do this. Oh, man. This is just turning into the worst of all possible farm sim videos. You know what? I'm sticking with it. I ain't scared. How can we do this? Where can we do this? Because I don't want to mess up any grass textures. Let's do this. So we're going to put this right in here. Get this out of the way. Right. Set the brake. Unlock the hubs. Go get in our K700. Have you heard this thing? I don't think I've done anything with this. And actually, you get in over here. Sitting on the other side for some reason. I don't think I've done anything with this on camera. So, we lift that. And I'm trying to think where I can put this. put it right here. That goes there. I'm just going to cut in this island, and we're up near 30 minutes. So I'll just cut in that island and go over and check on the Deutschfahrer, and we'll call it. And then I'll clean everything up and fix it off camera. Right. Here we go. And not much for turning circle either. Right. And I think I'll have to look at the... In fact, I can do that before we end the episode. But we'll take a look and see if this is actually plowing or if it's just cultivating. It says it has a plow function. So we're going to trust the mod maker. Right. Nice smoke, K700. Right. So we go there, we go here, and then if we go here and here, and then here. There we go. No. Reverse that. We go here. No, it looks like it didn't. Because we would have another circle right around this island here. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So that's just a cultivator. It's not a subsoiler. All right, we'll need to do it. I'll figure something out. We'll need to figure out a way to get that. I guess I can just do it manually with this plow here. The MB Track is capable of hauling this thing around. We've been working with it for quite a while now, so I know that'll pull. Okay. No problem. And let's see what kind of a mess our worker made over here. Says they're still seeding. Yeah. I don't know how the field boundaries are designated on this map, but we'll need to do a little cleanup. I mean, it got some work done. It definitely got some work done, and that's what the workers are for. You know, it's just to save a little time while you're doing other things. So, right, that takes us just over half an hour. It's been an eventful episode, I have to say. It's been fun. First episode of the new year, and really looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a great year. Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah, about good years and bad years. I'll tie it off. Oh, that's nice. It's a nice little thumbnail too. Yeah, it is. Wow, there you go. So, good years and bad years. When you have a good year, that year is done. You put it in the books. If you make a good bet on the Super Bowl, your bookie gives you that money and you're good to go, right? That's it. It's closed. The case is closed. There's nothing else to do with that. If you have a bad year, you're still fighting with it at the end of the year. And continuing the metaphor, continuing the analogy, if you made a bad bet on the Super Bowl, you've left a hole in your budget, or you haven't even paid your bookie yet, and they're you're getting those phone calls, you're getting those texts, son, where's my money? So I feel like when something goes right for you, it's done, it's closed out. When something goes wrong for you, it continues to be something that you need to work on and try to fix. So when people say I had a good year, I had a bad year, I think for me that's the difference. Is a good year, now we can just go on to the next one, and a bad year, it's like, I still got to fix crap from last year. So if 2018 was a good year for you, that's fantastic. Congratulations. If it was a bad year for you, 2019 is going to be much better. I have a feeling it's going to be a great year for all of us. So, folks, there you have it. Welcome back to Dolnośląska. Oh, I almost made it. Dolnośląska Wieś. And thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. We'll see you next time. Take care now.